For 85 agonizing minutes on that Wednesday evening in Atlanta, England were winning a World Cup semi-final. They were mere minutes away from booking their first appearance in a final since 1966. Only minutes away from the trophy chase, an entire nation has bled for across 6 lifetimes of heartbreak. And then, inside roughly 7 brutal minutes, every last shred of it disintegrated. What unfolded inside that Atlanta stadium resembled less a football match and more a barroom brawl with a scoreboard bolted to the wall. And by the time the referee's whistle finally cut through the noise, there were at least 3 completely separate scandals for the entire planet to shout about. So what the actual hell happened to England out there? Pull up a chair, because you are going to need one. You have to understand right from the start that this fixture was never going to resemble anything approaching normal, because England and Argentina simply do not do normal. This is one of the deepest, most venomous rivalries the entire sport possesses. Drenched in decades of bad blood and forever shadowed by the Falklands conflict, the rivalry of Maradona's Hand of God and Beckham's infamous red card. These two nations genuinely, deeply, personally cannot stand each other on a football pitch. So when that toxic history collided head-on with the searing Atlanta atmosphere, you got precisely what any sane observer would have predicted. From the opening whistle, this was open warfare. And I mean that almost literally, because the first half was pure carnage. 19 fouls crammed into 45 minutes. Argentina came bursting out of the tunnel with fangs bared, flying into every tackle, hacking, niggling, provoking, executing every single dark art they have perfected across generations of international football. In the 3rd minute, Enzo Fernandez caught the back of Elliot Anderson's head with a swinging elbow as he entered a challenge. No card produced. Argentina hunted England's midfielders across every blade of grass on the pitch. And here is the tiny detail that reveals absolutely everything about how the referee handled the whole affair. The very first yellow card of the entire evening did not go to Argentina. It went instead to England, to Anderson, for a foul on Messi. Referee Ismail Elfeth kept his cards buried firmly in his pocket, while Argentina transformed a World Cup semifinal into a full-blown street fight, and the watching football world absolutely detonated with fury. Social media flooded in real time with English supporters, raging that Argentina were literally getting away with murder, that the officiating was blatantly one-sided, that there was no earthly point in even bothering to have a referee on the pitch. It was wild. It was thrilling. It was genuinely entertaining to watch in a horrifying car crash kind of way. But it was also unmistakably a referee catastrophically losing control of a powder keg. And you know precisely why that lit the alarm bells, because this was the referee. This was Ismail Elfeth, the American official FIFA specifically handed this game to. The man under whom Lionel Messi has never lost a football match. The appointment that had half the planet screaming rigged before a single ball had even been struck. So when that same referee proceeded to let Argentina physically bully the game and then booked England first, every single suspicion people had walked into the stadium carrying in the heat of the moment felt entirely confirmed. And it was not merely angry supporters shouting into the void. A former head of England's referees, Keith Hackett, reviewed the whole ordeal and stated that Elfeth failed to stamp his authority on the match, pointing specifically at that unpunished Enzo challenge and highlighting the referee's well-known reluctance to actually produce yellow cards. The cruel irony is that Enzo Fernandez, the very man who by rights should have been booked and reined in early, went on to score the goal that changed absolutely everything. So let us take this seriously for a second, because this is the point where I have to be dead straight with you. Was this proof of a genuine fix? No. Honestly, no. What we all witnessed was not a referee cleverly engineering an Argentina victory. It was a weak referee getting completely swallowed alive by a chaotic, hatred-fueled game he was never anywhere near strict enough to control. He was lenient in both directions across 19 first-half fouls, and that first card against England was, in fairness, a legitimate foul on Messi. There is no smoking gun buried in this evidence. But here is where it genuinely matters. The real scandal is not Elfeth's supposed personal bias. It is that FIFA took the single most combustible, hostile, history-drenched fixture in the entire tournament and casually handed it to a referee famous for being reluctant with his cards. You could see this catastrophe coming from 10 miles away. A firmer official books Enzo in the 3rd minute, calms the entire thing straight down, and the street fight never even ignites in the first place. FIFA set the stage, and it collapsed in exactly the manner anybody could have foreseen. That falls on the appointment as much as it falls on the man himself. Now, despite all the surrounding chaos, England genuinely did exactly what they had traveled to Atlanta to accomplish. They held their nerve under extreme provocation, and they attacked Argentina precisely where it hurt, running directly at that shaky, error-prone Argentine backline with the searing pace of Jude Bellingham, Anthony Gordon, and the excellent Jed Spence. And in the 55th minute, it paid off beautifully. Morgan Rogers, on the pitch for this exact quality, whipped a perfect cross in from the right wing, and Gordon arrived at the far post to finish it off, 1-0 England. And for approximately half an hour, England were going to the World Cup final. You could genuinely feel it in the bones. And then Thomas Tuchel made the one decision that is destined to haunt English football for a very long time to come. Because from that commanding winning position, with Argentina rattled and ragged and completely ripe for the taking, he got scared. Deep into the second half, he began pulling attackers off and hurling defenders on. He removed Anthony Gordon, the very man who had just scored the goal, and introduced a center back in Ezri Konsa. Then came Dan Burn, then came Nico O'Reilly. He shifted England into a back five, told them to sit on the lead and defend their own penalty area for dear life. And in doing so, he drained every last drop of counter-attacking pace out of the team and left Harry Kane completely stranded and isolated up front. England, mere minutes away from a World Cup final, simply stopped playing football altogether. And the numbers are genuinely damning. In the 37 minutes between Gordon's goal and the exact moment it all disintegrated, England managed 12% of the possession. 12. They managed 3 shots after taking the lead, and precisely nothing whatsoever after the 78th minute. You cannot invite the finest attacking side you faced all tournament, with Lionel Messi prowling the pitch, to lay siege to your penalty area for half an hour, and then expect to walk away without a single scratch. It was plainly, unmistakably, tactical suicide. And the bitter thing is that Tuchel had genuinely looked like an elite manager all tournament long, right up until the exact moment he did not. His in-game changes had rescued England against Congo, tamed the boiling pit of the Azteca against Mexico, and survived the sweltering Miami Heat against Norway. But this was a completely different animal, and pulling off your goal scorer to bring on a 4th defender against Messi is not game management. It is capitulation. It was the precise trap Gareth Southgate collapsed into again and again. The exact conservatism that saw England lead and then lose the 2018 semi-final and the Euro 2020 final. England paid an 8-figure salary and moved heaven and earth to hire a Champions League winning manager specifically so this stopped happening. So somebody would finally have the courage to be brave in the moment that genuinely demanded bravery. And when the moment arrived, he did exactly what his predecessor always did. Afterwards, Tuchel got prickly about the criticism, but the scoreboard and the 12% possession argued far, far louder than he ever could. You do not get hired to be the difference maker and then coach exactly like the man you replaced. And Argentina, to their absolutely enormous credit, smelled the blood in the water and went straight for the throat. This is where Lionel Scaloni completely outthought Tuchel from start to finish. While the England boss was busy dismantling his own tactical setup, Scaloni was chasing the game, throwing on attackers, and crucially introducing Lautaro Martinez in the 81st minute. Jordan Pickford was heroic between the sticks, pulling off a string of world-class saves, including a stunning reflex stop to deny Nico Gonzalez a header that looked destined for the net. Alexis Mac Allister rattled the woodwork, not once, but twice, each near miss ratcheting the pressure higher and telling you unmistakably that the dam was about to burst. And at the very center of all of it was Enzo Fernandez, who had been a chief irritant from the very first minute, hassling, hurrying, needling, exactly the sort of player you adore having on your own team and utterly despise playing against. It was almost inevitable he would have a say. The pressure built and built and built, until in the 85th minute, England defended a corner appallingly. Messi slipped the ball to Enzo on the edge of the box, and that same Enzo, who should have been carded in the 3rd minute, absolutely leathered it past Pickford. 1-1. The stadium detonated, and then in the 92nd minute, Messi did the thing that only Messi ever does. floating across with the outside of his right foot to the back post, where Lautaro Martinez climbed and headed it home. 2-1 Argentina. England, who had been 90 seconds of stoppage time and a single clean sheet away from the final, were finished. Afterwards, Scaloni put it perfectly. There was blood in the water, and we went for it. And this is the part that should genuinely terrify the rest of the world about this Argentina side. They have now conceded first in 3 consecutive knockout games and won every single one anyway. They fell behind to Cape Verde and won. They went 2 goals down against Egypt and won. They trailed England with 5 minutes left and won. This is not luck, or at least not merely luck. This is a team with a bottomless well of tournament experience and ice-cold composure. A side that simply refuses to believe it is beaten, marshaled by a Messi who reads the decisive moments of a football match better than anybody alive. Whatever you may think of the officiating that helped smooth their path along the way, the comeback itself, the 2 goals, were pure quality. Messi created both. You cannot pin those on any referee. Threaded through the entire furious spectacle was the personal edge, and it gifted the internet its defining image of the night. Early on, Messi and Bellingham, 2 of the finest players on the planet, separated by an entire generation, squared up in a prolonged confrontation, which ended with Messi staring Bellingham straight down and giving a small, dismissive little nod that promptly broke social media in half. Afterwards, Bellingham played it down, explaining it was a row over a foul, that Messi had complained about a challenge, and that Bellingham had told him, "You are strong enough to take it." And to his real credit, gutted as he clearly was, Bellingham refused to be bitter about it, calling it a privilege to have shared a pitch with Messi. 2 eras of greatness colliding, and the older one walked off toward yet another final. But here is the part England fans genuinely do not want to hear, and it is the part that makes this so much more than just a FIFA story or referee story. This was England being England. Look at the pattern, because it is absolutely merciless. In the entire 21st century, only twice has a team scored first in a World Cup semifinal and gone on to lose the match. Both of those teams were England. They led Croatia in the 2018 semifinal and lost. They led Italy in the Euro 2020 final and lost. They simply do not beat the best sides at major tournaments, having been knocked out by the highest-ranked team they faced in 7 of the last 8 World Cups. Thomas Tuchel was hired precisely to shatter that glass ceiling. And instead, he walked his entire team straight into it, outcoached at the decisive moment by a Scaloni now standing 1 victory away from becoming only the 2nd manager in football history to lift 2 World Cups. Even Tuchel, for what it is worth, conceding his team did not find any duels anymore. That is the truth of it. England did not lose this because of a referee. They lost it because when the biggest moment of a generation finally arrived, they shrank into their shell exactly as they always seem to. And there is a fatigue element nobody in the England camp can really hide from, because it was partly self-inflicted. This was a group that had already been dragged through the altitude cauldron of the Azteca against Mexico, and the sweltering extra-time slog against Norway in Miami. A squad packed with players who had already grinded through brutal European club seasons, and then took on the most compressed schedule of any of the Final 4 teams. They even chose to base themselves in Kansas City, rather than closer to their group venues, adding extra travel on top of everything else. By the time Argentina came at them in waves, England had absolutely nothing left in the tank. No legs to press, no legs to counter, but make absolutely no mistake. Tiredness explains only so much. The deeper problem is the one that has genuinely haunted England for decades. An inability to control a big match through the midfield, and a mentality that tightens up the instant a trophy floats into view. Andrea Pirlo did it to them in 2014, Luka Modric did it in 2018, Spain did it at the last Euros, and now Messi and Enzo have done it to them in Atlanta. Different faces, the exact same story, playing on repeat. So here is where all of this leaves us, and it is uncomfortable regardless of which angle you approach it from. FIFA wanted Messi and Argentina in the final, and Messi and Argentina are in the final. You can absolutely point at the lenient refereeing that allowed Argentina to turn the game into a brawl. You can point at the appointment that literally nobody trusted from the moment it was announced. Those things are real, and they deserve to be talked about. But the harder, more honest truth is that England handed this game away. Tuchel's fear gifted Argentina the momentum on a silver platter. And Argentina had the quality, the composure, and the sheer ice-cold nerve to punish it through the genius of Lionel Messi and nothing else. The suspicious version of this story says FIFA scripted the ending. The likelier version says FIFA set a shaky, flammable stage, England lost their nerve and collapsed on it, and Argentina were simply the better, braver team when everything was on the line. And the maddening thing is that both of those roads lead to the exact same destination. That destination is Sunday at MetLife, where a 39-year-old Lionel Messi will stand one match away from footballing immortality against a magnificent Spain side. And Spain, remember, are no fairy tale opponent waiting to be swept aside. They are the reigning European champions, unbeaten in 37 matches, and on the evidence of how ruthlessly they dismantled France in the other semifinal, they are the most coherent, controlled team left standing, and the rightful favorites to lift the trophy. If Argentina really have been getting a helping hand all tournament long, they are about to need it more than ever, because Spain are an entirely different class of problem. Whether Messi got here by magic, by a rival's mismanagement, or by a whistle that stayed silent for far too long in a first half that should never have been allowed to descend into a knife fight, the fact remains that he did get here. And England, so agonizingly close once again, trudge off toward a meaningless third-place playoff against France and settle back into the only thing that ever truly feels familiar. The wait. 62 years of hurt and counting. Was England robbed by the referee, betrayed by their own manager, or simply beaten by a better team on the night? I have my own answer, but I want to hear yours. So fire away in the comments and stick around, because that Argentina versus Spain final is shaping up to be an absolute monster.